And that leads to the next part, where because their ideologies aren't rooted in reality, they must institute totalitarian measures to enforce what people can think and what they can say.
And unfortunately, if you stand up against an ideology like, so-called anti-racism, which basically says all white people are bad.
Critical theory.
Or critical theory. Or you stand up and say a woman is defined by her biology. So you're against transgender. So, as you know, there's no discussion. You are cancelled. You are removed. You have to be silenced. This dissent cannot be permitted. So we're in what a thinker of a previous age called cultural totalitarianism. No alternative is to be permitted. Now, first of all, that is an assault on individual freedom of expression and freedom, but it's also a complete repudiation of reason. Because if you say there is nothing that you can say that can dissent from my ideology, and you say you're bringing evidence to oppose me, well, that cannot be the case.
The left declares as absolute fact that they are virtuous, they are compassionate, they are loving, they are accepting, they are tolerant. Well, we certainly know they aren't tolerant to people who disagree with them. But to them, authoritarian suppression is acceptable. In fact, it's encouraged. Any viewpoints antithetical to theirs must be rooted in evil, in bigotry, and therefore must be silenced by any means necessary, even if it's just fundamental truth. The left's obsession with virtue signaling allows them to apply these utopian labels to themselves, while being completely contradictory in their actions. Donald Trump just labeled Antifa a terrorist group, the group responsible for the Summer of Love, where American cities were burnt to the ground. And the left simply says, well, look at the name, anti-fascist. How can you be against that? But ignore the intentions and actions of this group, which are to intimidate and coerce through violence the submission of the opposing ideology. The same way Joe Biden's Inflation Reduction Act actually increased inflation. They called Donald Trump a fascist, but let's recap what the left did. They imposed an ideology that forced people to disregard biological reality and instead adopt a fanciful belief that men and women were simply interchangeable. They forced the medical community and the psychological community to affirm this fact. They changed the name of mother to birthing person. They targeted children with indoctrination the same way every authoritarian regime does. They put the trans flag in every classroom as the new symbolism for them to pledge their allegiance to. And adults who understood that this was a lie were met with harsh consequences. You misgender someone in the workplace, you lose your job. You refuse to affirm your kids saying they're the opposite gender, you lose your kids. You show up to school board meetings expressing your discontent with this indoctrination. Well, now you're getting investigated by the FBI.